Trent Williams, they're shutting him down for the year. Kyle Shanahan isn't that careful with his words. So for Greenlaw, I don't know if we're going to shut him down for the year. It's up to him. We'll talk to him. Trent Williams, he's like, yeah, he's not going to play again this year because his ankle isn't quite healing the way we'd like. Plus our situation. You heard him say that, right?
Right.
Our situation. So for Trent Williams, it just doesn't make sense for him to play when he's not 100% healthy. To which I would say, yes, I completely agree. It's interesting that there is a class and he's in that of people who don't need to be playing right now. Jalen Moore can't play, quad injury. Spencer Burford may not be able to play, calf injury. The Niners could be down to a practice squad left tackle for the last 2 games, and maybe not even a guy on their practice squad, maybe someone else's practice squad. What is your instant reaction to this news?
A couple things. I mean, one, good. Trent Williams does not need to play. Trent Williams is a freaking warrior. I don't know that people realize this, but we saw him in the locker room. I forget what week it was, but Grant, the guy could not get from his locker to the other side of the room. I mean, he was barely moving. Every step he was grimacing. He played that Sunday. He took the Toradol shot, and he played that Sunday. But anybody who's ever taken those shots or anybody who's been around football players who do take those shots know that there's a residual cost to that. You know what I mean? You're going to get out there Sunday, but it's going to feel like hell for a few weeks. And I think, that's where the season was in the balance. Like, he couldn't play. And now I think he probably could play, but now it's not worth him playing. So I'm glad he's not going to play. And as far as what is it, what is the message that I would get out of this? No more Brock Purdy. If you can't play Trent and you can't play Banks and you can't play Moore and you don't have, a full contingent of offensive linemen and you're already out of it and you need to find out about Tanner Mordecai anyway, then just play Tanner Mordecai. And that's how I feel about it. I don't want to see Brock Purdy anymore this year. I think Kyle's going to play him, but I don't think he should.
Yeah, he was asked straight up. Eric Branch of the San Francisco Chronicle, way to go, Eric, said, hey, because he was like sort of putting the pieces together, like, okay, so just going to start a practice squad left tackle, huh? This is your franchise quarterback, supposedly. Like, maybe don't play him. I mean, you just said that you're not playing Trent Williams because of the situation you're in, partly. So does that apply to Brock Purdy? And goes, Eric, I got a football team. I have to, at least I got a football team. What do you want me to do? Like, okay.
Sit Brock Purdy and play Tanner Mordecai. Are we not speaking English? Do we need a translator? They have those new little things that you can put in your ear that will tell you like foreign languages and translate them into English. Maybe he needs to be translated for him.
Because it's not just the left tackle.
Purdy. Brock Purdy. No. Tanner Mordecai.
Yeah, get someone to sign language or something. Because it's not just the left tackle spot. It's also going to be Nick Zakelj at left guard.
Right.
And then you got Jake Brennan and Colton McKivitz, who are backup quality players anyway. Sorry.
I mean, and the numbers show that Brock Purdy, when kept clean, Brock Purdy, when under pressure, not the same Brock Purdy. I mean, the numbers in this game were really clear. Brock Purdy, when he was under pressure in this game, 4 of 11, 44 yards, an interception, and 3 sacks. Brock Purdy with a clean pocket against Miami, 22 of 29. That's a 76% completion percentage for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So, yeah, you keep them clean, and you got a good chance to have them see some good things. If you don't keep them clean, you're not. And, when the pocket is clean, Purdy this year, sixth best quarterback in the EPA per dropback. So he gets it done if you can protect him. And if he's your guy going forward, that's awesome. You better be able to protect him. And since you can't protect him here at the end, and you got Detroit and Arizona and their physical football teams who are playing a lot more physical ball right now than you are, I wouldn't put Purdy in harm's way there. I'd play Tanner Mordecai so you can find out what he's got.
Yeah, it's like the idea that he could somehow do something in the next couple of games that would affect his contract negotiation. These games don't count. There's no pressure on these games. I don't know. It kind of seems to me like I get some irresponsible speculation. They're not going to go to Brock and say, hey, we don't want you to play these next 2 games, because he's trying to earn that contract, and he hasn't yet. He's had a down season. And again, I struggle to see how he could do anything well enough to actually get that, to actually change anything the next couple of games. But if he struggles the next couple of games, which he probably will behind a Swiss cheese offensive line, then the Niners could use that against him in the contract negotiation, and they could see it as a way to save money. So, hey, Brock, go get him and maybe give us that hometown discount in the process. That's irresponsible to say, but I almost feel like it's like the unspoken thing. Like, yeah, go ahead play. Could work out for us. Now, don't get hurt.
Right. I mean, just imagine if somehow he suffered a serious injury and couldn't play at all in 2025. Really?
In a game that didn't matter, behind Nick Zakelj and some person who's been on the team for 3 days.
I mean, it's ironic as hell that he just gave his offensive lineman Toyotas, the greatest Christmas present anybody's ever given a group of offensive linemen, any quarterback has ever given his linemen. And yet his line is not very good.
Yeah, and the left tackle isn't going to have one of those Toyotas. It's going to be some guy from some other team who's like, wait, where's my Toyota? And Brock's like, you haven't earned it yet. Sorry. That was Christmas.
Right.
Although Christmas, what if they sign another offensive tackle tomorrow on Christmas Eve? Does Brock owe him a TRD plus?
Yeah, exactly. Where's my
You want me to block for you? I like Toyotas too.
Maybe the guys who come in at the end, maybe we'll get like a Camry, maybe something like that, maybe a Corolla.
Hey, the entire lineup at Toyota is tried and true. Okay, it's a little boring, but that's because it works. Shout out Toyota.
There you go.
I'm a Kia guy though. I'm a Kia driver.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
I feel like with Toyota, you pay for that reliability. That's a brand you can trust since 1985. Kia's on the come up. You know what I mean? Toyota, you're paying for that sense of secure. What are we talking about? Sorry, Brock Purdy. Should they sit him?
Blake Griffin could never dunk over a Toyota, but he did dunk one time over a Kia.
That's the official car of the NBA. What's the official car of the NFL? Toyota.
In the parking lot,
I don't know.
It looks like
didn't Steve Young have a lot of Toyota commercials back when I was a kid?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love those. It's a Niners.
I think
tradition.
Ronnie may own a dealership.
Wow.
I think Ronnie may have partial ownership of Tracy Toyota.
Well, if things don't work out for Brock Purdy, maybe he could get a partial. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Oh, wow.
So they're not going to sit him. But again, like if he gets hurt in the next couple of games and it's like some freaking guy from the practice squad who whiffs on a block, you can't blame some freaking guy from the practice squad. You kind of have to blame Kyle. And it's like falls into a pattern of him seeming to not really protect players who aren't named Trent Williams. I mean, he didn't even protect Christian McCaffrey. He was like, oh, you're healthy? Get the hell on the field.
17 checks, 17.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say, not to, say anything about the practice squad, but it's not just the practice squad that kind of mentally no-showed this game. On the second drive, holding call, Debo has a beautiful run, holding call on Banks. Banks is not playing particularly well. Then there's a false start on George Kittle. I mean, the Niners had two key penalties on their offensive second drive.
Did you catch that Kyle Shanahan blamed George Kittle for one of the illegal formations and Kittle after the game blamed himself?
No, I didn't catch that.
He did. One of them was on Pearsall, but I guess the other one was on Kittle. And that's what Kittle and Kyle said. I don't know if they're just trying to take some heat off of Pearsall, but that was their official story.
Well, I mean, great. I mean, so now it's on Kittle instead of Pearsall. Now it's on a guy who's been, he's a Pro Bowler and is one of your best players. I mean, I get it. Maybe they're trying to take some pressure off Pearsall, but I mean, to me, this game was very, very frustrating on a lot of fronts. We can get into all of it, but to me, it wasn't just Kittle played well, and Pearsall had some. We all saw Pearsall getting yelled at by Leonard Hankerson. But you heard Kyle today when he was asked about it. He's like, Ricky likes to be coached hard. Ricky likes to be coached, or I don't know if coached hard. He said, Ricky likes to be coached. So in other words, it's okay that Hankerson was just in his grill. But you know what? It is okay. It's football. To me, I mean, a football coach is not a football coach if he doesn't yell at somebody.
That's the first time I've ever seen Leonard Hankerson coach
Yeah.
anyone. Like I've
I mean,
seen
he
him
seriously
put
was
the
in
wide
a
receivers through
drill.
drills, but he basically just seems like their friend. He chops it up with them. They laugh together. That was the first time I actually saw him try to what did Chris Forrester called it? Like traumatic events are more memorable, so I like to yell at
Right,
players. He
yeah.
said that. Yeah, it was like he was trying to
He
give Ricky Pearsall a
literally said.
traumatic event. That
Well,
was
you know,
really
and the S rolls downhill, man. I don't think for a second that Kyle Shanahan probably sounded out Hankerson about his receivers there, and the S rolls downhill. So head coach gets mad at me, I'm getting mad at you. I think, probably I wouldn't doubt if that's the way it came down.
I would think so, absolutely. It's like your player can't even focus. I drafted this guy. I said he reminded me of me. I never would have made that mistake.